Inside the world of physical and mental well-being, there are many different disciplines or groups of individuals who are involved. So the main group are obviously doctors, but then there are many others who are not far from the front line, such as dentists, opticians, nurses, physiotherapists and psychologists, for example. These groups are actively involved in treating ailments. And then when it comes specifically to food, there are other groups, predominantly dietitians and nutritionists. The demarcation between the various groups is often blurred, and a lot of this has to do with the fact that they are effectively doing the same thing. But unfortunately, what gets in the way of progress is empire building. So as an example, the dietitians consider that they have a monopoly on giving out advice about food, effectively excluding nutritionists. And this is a bit of a shame, because we should all be working together to achieve the same end result, and that is a happy, healthy, longer living population. When it comes to something as fundamental as how the body handles food, and in particular what goes wrong when you feed it differently to how it has evolved to handle food, it is clearly essential that those charged with the responsibility of looking after humans have a sound understanding of the science behind it. Unfortunately, this is far from the case. And the mess that we are currently in with regards to obesity is a testament to this. Many of these groups sit on the fringe of the science and are orbiting in the periphery and really don't understand the basics, including the presentation of evidence. I call them pseudoscientists or dilettantes. Unfortunately, a lot of evidence in medicine is fundamentally flawed, with the vast majority of it not even worth the paper it's written on. And frankly, if it's not an independently conducted randomized controlled trial involving humans, then it should go straight into the trash can. And when I talk about vested interest, I'm talking about being paid to do the trial by the likes of a cereal company, for instance. And you'd be surprised how often this happens. So anything involving animal models can be dispensed with immediately. Most of this data originates from so-called centers of excellence that largely exist for their own benefit, and that is the people who work in them. Call me a cynic if you like, but I prefer the term realist. When it comes specifically to intermittent fasting and whether it works, I'm often asked by those pseudoscientists to show the evidence. And this is clearly ludicrous. No evidence is required to demonstrate a normal body function. All that is required is for it to be allowed to happen and then to simply observe the outcome. It's a bit like asking me to prove that children grow. You only need to subject a population to a clinical trial to test that it is beneficial if you are introducing an intervention, and that is, you're subjecting the body to something that it has not evolved to do. The real irony, of course, is that when it comes to the food we eat, a significant intervention was introduced many years ago without even a hint of scientific rigor. And that, of course, is refined carbohydrate. Not even the vaguest attempt at ensuring that it was safe. And guess what? It wasn't. Intermittent fasting is simply removing the intervention, and that is what Nestea is about. All that is required is for individuals to do it and observe the result.